of Grand Prix Manchester. Hello and welcome to the quarterfinals of Grand Prix Manchester. I'm Tim Willoughby here with Raf Levy, and we're just about ready to go down to the feature match area where the first quarterfinal we're going to be having a look at is Barclay of Scotland up against Tamas Glied of Hungary. So these two very experienced players both. They've both played for their national teams, and they've got probably the two biggest decks in the format between them. So on the left of our screen, Tamas, he's playing red, green, white mid-range, or quite simply Naya. This deck, it's looking to use the acceleration of the format in the likes of Sylvan Caryatid and also Voyaging Satyr. It's got powerful threats, and it's got a potentially very dangerous endgame in the terms of both Xenagos, Elspeth Sun's Champion, and Stormbreath Dragon. Now on the other side of things, Barclay from Scotland, he's playing Bug Control. This deck, it's still got the powerful green acceleration, at least from Sylvan Caryatid, but it's doing a bit more removing of creatures with the likes of Hero's Downfall and Silence the Believers, and then its end game is all about Prognostic Sphinx, a very difficult threat that can attack things in the air. Any early predictions, Raf, on this one?
Bradley has been, we've seen Bradley play against Naya the whole week. I've seen him playing against Naya the whole weekend, and I've seen him play as well, and I've been impressed. He played very well all the matches I've watched him play. So if I had a prediction, I would more say, as a player, Bradley has the advantage.
So it's not just about the cards, of course, it is about making the right decisions, and we're already seeing a couple of scry lands here. With so much scry in the format, there's an awful lot of decision points, and those decision points really help the well-prepared, skilled player. Thoughtseized here from Brad, meaning that he's going to be working with perfect information for a little while. Sees a couple of lands. You see him taking notes here of everything that's in Tamas Glied's hand. A couple of Xenagos, the Revelers there. He can refer to these notes as much as he wants, and it'll just mean that it's one less thing for him to keep in his head, I guess. So there's a Voyaging Satyr, a Magma Jet, and Courser of Crufix, a very big card this weekend. Now, of the cards to pick here, you can't take the lands. What's the choice? It looks like, yeah, so Brad's there gone for the accelerant, the Voyaging Satyr. Do we agree with that one?
I think there are too many threats in Tamas' hand, so and the threats are just not that hard to deal with. Though if it was an Elspeth or something else, then it might have been different. But
they're almost interchangeable, I guess.
And there was no way Bradley could keep without taking the Satyr. Xenagos would have been here on turn 3.
Got it.
Because he had 2. Because Tamas had 2. So taking the Satyr was the fine choice.
It looks like Tamas there drew a mana confluence, that the mana acceleration that, that the mana fixing that's being seen by an awful lot of these decks, whether they're 2-color aggro decks or 3-color sort of more mid-rangey control decks, just to make sure that you have the right mana untapped at the right time. But yeah, by taking that 2-drop, no 2-drop play for Tamas cleared, and now we'll see what Brad can bring to the table.
Courser.
Courser of Crufix, plenty of abilities. You play with the top card of your deck revealed. If it's a land, you can put it into play, just as you would one from your hand. And any time you play a land, you get to gain a life. Pretty much does it all.
Oh, is that going to be a Flame Jet, Magma Jet end of turn? Just a scry?
Yeah, I mean, scrying for 2 is something that means that Tamas Glied much more likely to hit his land drops, and that kind of what every deck wants to do in Magic, really. But especially this red, green, white deck that has quite a lot of expensive spells.
It's a Satyr. Bojang Satyr. There's 2 mana convergence. That's going to be a lot of damage in the long run. It's 2 of it, 3 lands.
Yeah,
no, he had a temple. I thought he had another convergence.
But when all of your green sources are mana convergence, all of a sudden those Courser of Kruphix come at a bit of an extra price. So Cure of the Crashing Wave going into Brad Barclay's hand reveals a Scryland on top of his deck, which he can play if he wants to, but if he wants to get Cure in play nice and quick, he might go for a different option.
Well, he doesn't have a blue mana, so he doesn't have blue sources. He's going to play another Courser, gain 2 life, and look for his blue source. Here we go.
There it is.
Probably keep.
Now those 2/4 Courser of Kruphix, not necessarily super easy for Tamas Glied to remove. He's got 4 Lightning Strikes and 2 Magma Jets in his deck. They're not going to be enough on their own to deal with a 2/4. But he has got a couple of copies of Destructive Revelry as well, which, as they're enchantment creatures, they'll kill it off right away.
Courser this turn, take 2. And that's the sound for
that's the Painland noise.
Painland noise.
I'm basically just a sort of a strange sound effect machine at this point. That's normally the noise that plumbers make when you ask how expensive something is that you need to get fixed, and they're like, it's not going to be cheap. Elspeth on top, not something that Tamas is going to be able to cast just yet. While Brad is smoothly putting together his plan. He's got a temple that he's going to get in his blue mana soon enough, so he won't be that far off the Prognostic Sphinx on the top of his deck.
And the Reaper. Reaper is going to come down this turn. Probably attack with both and play Reaper. A Reaper attack. Yeah, Reaper attack would be better. Because I think Bradley knows Tamas has a Magma Jet in hand.
He did see a Magma Jet off the Thoughtseas, yes.
Yeah. So he might play the
Reaper pre-combat, so that if there ends up being an awkward fight where one of his creatures dies, he at least gets a scry.
His Sphinx goes to the bottom because it doesn't have the blue, the second blue. Forest not too happy with that. No attacks.
Brad content to play the long game here.
He does not want to trade the Magma Jet for a Courser. That's a pretty good choice. I like that play too.
Good.
Yeah.
Elspeth going to Tamas Glied's hand, and as much as things like Banishing Light on top look pretty good, he'd rather just see more lands. Because he's going to play a Mana Confluence here. Tamas playing with our expectations. I'm pretty confident he's going to make a land drop though.
You know, 1, take 2.
Yep, that's the noise. You figured it out.
What if you had to draw a card off this? You go to...
Potentially.
Okay. We need a Tim...
if you've got Necropotence, you must bargain. I'm not going to make any noises when Griselbrand does his thing.
Are you you have to go like...
It ends up sounding like a club mix or something.
All right, Elspeth.
Plenty tokens here for Tamas Glied.
And another forest.
That one can hit play.
And an island, wow.
Bit of a glut of lands here for Brad Barclay.
Now, creatures are going to die this turn. So he's going to be able to look for something else. And that's 5. Is everything attacking Elspeth this turn?
I would endorse that attack. Attacking Elspeth seems like a fine choice.
Yep.
And it looks like Brad agrees.
I don't think Tamas' block is like blocking everything with.
So now Tamas decides, does he want to keep all the loyalty on Elspeth?
All right. So scry twice once.
Yeah, this is not a scry for 2. This is scry 1, and then scry 1 again.
Ooh.
Bile Blight.
And
that one will get a pass.
That's the sound for a keep. Ooh.
That was you, that was.
Ooh, yeah.
If people are making the Tim Willoughby soundboard, that one is a guest appearance at best.
Ooh. Oh, he has 2 Kyoras in hand. So does he want to go for the draw a card?
First one to improve his hand, second one to make Krakens. And if he plays one and draws a card, then that Bile Blight is ready to go.
Like the problem is that he knows Tamas has a Magma Jet. So next turn he's not going to be able to do much with that. Like the drawing is not like there's no real good play here.
We've already got a couple of game results from some of the other tables. Bizarrely enough, not our aggro table. Fabrizio Anteri already a game up with his bug deck against Marcio Carvalho's Naya deck. And Nicolas Laban with his Black Devotion deck already a game up against Valentin Mackel. So at the moment, the Naya deck's not faring too well in the feature match area.
Doesn't look too bad here. Oh yeah, and he has the Xenagos too. So Kyura is definitely not living.
So Tamas making some tokens. Those tokens potentially not long for this world with the likes of...
Oh no, he's killing you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I must have missing what the count was on before. So a minus 2 there, getting rid of Elspeth. Like getting rid of Reaper of the Wilds.
So what's the play here? Xenagos? That's a lot of...
There's a lot of sequencing in these plays, aren't there? Because between Xenagos and Elspeth, you can make an awful lot of mana if you want to. But I don't know how much endgame Tamas really has with all that mana.
So post-attack Satyr? Okay, no, that sounds fine. He wants to keep full power to block Corsair.
That makes sense. Yeah, Brad Barclay's life total has only been going up this round.
Yeah. It's going to start going down soon because he's not drawing anything relevant. He does not have a Sphinx. He does not have anything to draw cards except for his Cura in hand. That Cura is not going to survive long if he hits the board.
So Bile Blight having to just kill off one Satyr token, not exactly the outcome that I'm sure Brad Barclay was looking for.
But this land is not so bad since it's...
At least it can be played off the top.
For free. Another land.
And that land scried to the bottom immediately, couldn't have been done faster.
In Ashiok.
All right. So we could have a Planeswalker party happening fairly shortly.
Yeah, well this one is not exactly what you want to draw here. It's dead, okay.
Elspeth down. And might we see a Magma Jet on one of those courses here, do you think?
Well, Corsair, no, Caryatid to block next turn. Next turn he's going to go for a, this guy is going to go for a second Kiora. He wanted Tamas to get rid of his magma jet.
Yeah, plenty of targets for in Brad Barclay's deck for the magma jets.
And a Pulse Crusher. Some business.
The Naya deck, pretty high incidence of high impact spells. Storm Breath Dragon on the top there.
Talking about, what did you say?
High impact?
High impact spells, yeah. Back to back, runner.
Yeah, you got the big enchantment proof monster on the ground and then the big white proof monster in the air. And with Xenagos helping power out extra mana, this could get messy.
So what's the play here?
I think I'd be tempted to get the Crusher on the board here.
So 3 mana. Banishing Light.
Okay. I don't really know how bothered I'd be about that, of course, given that Polis Crusher's coming down fairly soon. I'd have been tempted to hold on to that.
That's true.
It's very rare that you hear me describing the non-greedy play as well.
I think you're right. Two more damage for Pulse Crusher. Yep. Yeah, the Corsair was not doing a whole lot.
And it was giving you information as well. Yep. You got to find out a little bit more about what might be coming next.
Yep.
So Brad now draws that Ashiok.
So what does Ashiok and Kiora do this turn? What?
Well, Ashiok can make sure that dragon doesn't come along. So that's a start, right?
Right. And then what does Kiora do? It prevent from Pulse Crusher. And how much? Then Kiora is dying next turn. Oh yeah. And Tamas has the second Xenagos in hand. So if he needs another token, he can just decide to
use the Planeswalker uniqueness rule, play a second one, get rid of the first one. We do actually have another result from one of the other tables. Sebastian Cano with his Black Aggro deck is a game up against Juan Carlos Adebo Diaz. So the last of the game ones to be going in the feature match area. We will try and get a little live look in at the end of this game on one of our other matches. But here is Kiora first, and Kiora's going to draw a card.
Hero's Downfall.
Hero's Downfall is a powerful draw.
Ashiok 2.
Ashiok has to happen, and Tamas knew that this was on the cards, but yeah, high power draws available to the Naya deck, including Miss Elspeth's Son's Champion. That Banishing Light, though, not a terrible draw for Tamas either. He's got a couple of targets now. Another Xenagos on top.
As if it wasn't enough with what is on the board, Banishing Light is...
I mean, I'd be tempted to just kind of spend this turn dealing with all these Planeswalkers and worry about using my spells later, almost.
Yeah, that attack seems good. Is that block? Yeah, he's killing everything. Yeah, I like that attack.
I mean, he's been able to see from the way that Brad has been scrying and whatnot that he's digging. Like, that Kiora move was definitely a dig, which suggests that there's not much going on in Brad's hand. So
he doesn't know about the Hero's Downfall.
This is true.
He can actually play around the Downfall. kill what? There's only, is it gonna be relevant at all? So he has to kill this.
Oh, a few cheeky attacks to the face as well.
I don't think that was necessary, but he can't. Oh yeah, that's actually fine.
Oh, is that because you can monstrous the Polish crusher?
I think yeah, I would block the satyr and kill the that was not safe at all. Like sending the 3/4/3 damage is really unnecessary. So now Ashok is gonna be able to cast the dragon and take care of the Xenagos.
Yeah.
Well, not that it's a bad situation for Tamas, but he's only on 12.
He's taken a lot of damage from his lands.
And he cannot cast his Banishing Light now to take care of Ashok. So now the dragon is gonna be a problem. Oh wow. Like the D3 damage to Bradley were not necessary. Killing Ashok was necessary.
Yeah, this potentially a dangerous line of play that Tamas Glied has taken. I mean, he's ahead. And I think it's very easy when you're a little bit ahead to be a bit hasty.
Yeah. I mean, he did not have to do it.
I mean, one of Brad Barclay's real strengths as a player is his demeanor at the table. He doesn't give a lot away. It's difficult to get a good read on exactly how he's feeling while he's playing because he's got that sort of fairly flat reactions.
He's doing Xenagos too. Xenagos doesn't do anything. Actually, he can draw. You know what the best draw would be for Bradley here? A mana convergence or. Oh, mana convergence would be.
Oh, what? So he could ultimate.
Yeah.
Sorry, ultimate monstrosity his dragon
right away, and he's winning next turn, whatever happens.
Wow.
That's a convergence, or no, he would be short 1 damage with. He has 1 in his deck.
1 mana confluence in.
Mana confluence, not convergence. I've been calling this card convergence for like. Yeah, for pretty much 24 hours.
I mean, a confluence of things is pretty similar to a lot of things converging, so I'll let that one slide. Look at that, it comes into play, it's already tapped, it already knows what it's doing. That Stormbreath Dragon lives in the red zone.
Another Ashok? Oh yeah, well we knew that about that one. Oh no, we didn't know about that one, that's the second one. Oh, why? Right. Why this turn? That's the first time. Like Bradley could have done something differently. Just wait for the end of draw step.
Ah, yes.
Just to see what's happening.
So yeah, this is just all about satyrs getting stuck in.
So it's 6, 7, 8. Is that gonna be enough? Next turn he's another 13 damage. Let's see.
Oh, we've got an old-fashioned race going on here.
That's another blocker that's good enough.
Wow, wow, wow. I mean, there's another Xenagos for another satyr.
That's a dragon.
Is that a dragon?
Yes, it is. Oh. So is that enough? So it would be 6 mana. He can activate the dragon.
That'll do it.
I think that's enough.
Tamas effectively laying out the blockers here to make sure that he can figure it all out.
He can actually, like...
Brad here telling him what he ought to be doing.
What's going on? Because if he makes a token, then it's not lethal. Then he's missing 1 damage. And I think that's what it's about. I think he said, I'm making a token, and then... oh no, I'm doing this instead. And I think that because that's actually extremely relevant.
Well, yeah, I mean,
in one case he wins, in the other case, he still wins. He still wins because he just keeps the dragon. Well, depending on Bradley's draw, but he can just not attack with the dragon.
Yeah. And Bradley just explaining to the judges. We've got Kevin Dupre there, one of our head judges for this event.
In these situations, you look at the player who made the mistake. Like look at Tamas, like expression.
Yeah.
Like he knows he messed up.
Yeah.
Like there's no way. Like if I was like genuinely, if I knew I was not doing anything wrong, I was like, yeah, no, man. I was just like, I was like, I took the Seder and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm doing that instead. Yeah. But now he realizes he made a big mistake. Maybe he's gonna be able to take it back, but that sounds unlikely. It's very tough to see on camera, though.
Absolutely. But if there's ever a place that takes his backsies is not
acceptable
a thing, it's the top 8 of a Grand Prix.
And then, oh no,
So,
all right, that's going to be a very tough call for the judge.
So yeah, Tamas is currently explaining that as far as he's concerned, he grabbed a token for the area but was not making a token. That feels like a pretty thin argument to me, but obviously I'm not the judge involved. You know, we can have opinions, but we can't make decisions.
As long as he doesn't say, I activate Xenagos, I put a token into play.
Based on the way he's
arguable. You can't grab anything you want, man.
I mean, equally, the way that he's activated Xenagos every other turn has involved grabbing a token.
Yeah.
Like, I would class it as angle shooting almost to grab a token and then not make one.
I think like you can grab your sideboard and say, yeah, well, you know, I'm not sideboarding, I'm just checking.
I guess.
But like technically, it's a tough call for the judge, that's for sure. But yeah, I think there's a discussion between the judges. It could go. Yeah, it honestly could go either way. I could see it being like not happening, the token not happening.
While they're just figuring out the last of this, we're going to have a brief live look in against the mono-black versus red-white aggro deck. So on the left of our screen, that is Sebastian Knurr from Germany up against Juan Carlos Adebo Diaz from Spain. And plenty of threats in play for the red-white deck. Not particularly unusual. There's been launch the fleets, etc. going on to mean that on an Acro's Crusader nonetheless.
Is that a Phalanx leader? Yeah, it's a Phalanx leader.
It is, yes. So
I've never seen that one.
That's one of, I think that was a top 8 of Game Day promo. And so yes, this is a board that strongly favours Juan Carlos Adebo Diaz. He's just trying to work out exactly how much he wants to commit into attacks this turn.
Sebastian did not play, missed a land drop, so yeah.
Oof.
I don't think it was about committing. I think it's about counting how much damage you can push in.
So however much life Juan Carlos Adebo Diaz was on prior to this attack, he's now on 10 more, thanks to Ordeal of Heliod. And Sebastian Knurr is quite likely on fairly substantially less.
On pretty much to dead.
He's on at least nearly dead, shall we say.
Juan Carlos, I've seen him many times on the GP. I think I played once against him in like a few GPs ago. Like very long ago.
But he always tends to be near the top tables. Yeah. He's a good player.
Without the top finishes we expect from top players, but I'm happy to see him in top 8 of a GP.
Absolutely. I watched him playing against Martin User in the blue-white aggro versus red-white aggro.
All right, it's good enough.
God's willing enough there to put him squaring that matchup. We've yet to determine, at least in our top 8, which the best aggro deck is. But worth noting just some of the other decks that are in the feature match area. While those two look at sideboarding, our judge call still awaiting resolvement. There's another Bug Naya match going on, that between Fabrizio Anteri on Bug and Marcio Carvalho and Naya. The interesting other one that's going on is Valentin Mackel playing Naya is playing his Nicolas Laban's Black Devotion deck. That one that potentially, depending on the timings of how the different matches go, we might be able to get a little bit of a live look in on also. Or, you know, if it's still going, if it's the last match going, we'll just watch it straight up. Very simple. But as the players look at their sideboards here, we can do a little bit of the same effectively, I suppose. Given that this is them going to game 3, I'm guessing it's only going to be small changes. But one of the things I kind of like about Knorr's black deck is that it can bring in Bile Blight and Feast of Dreams to just have plenty of removal, which the red-white deck is a little bit lighter on.
So they're still discussing the conclusion of the
judge call?
Of the judge call, yeah. The thing is, even if it's a satyr, it doesn't mean the game is over.
Yeah,
because you can still hold the dragon back.
Yes, but it does then mean that if Brad top decks any removal spell, the game goes the other way.
You know what the judge could do? Just check the next card and say, yep, doesn't matter.
That's absolutely something the judge can't do, Raphael Levy.
Well, if only that was possible. Okay, let me check your next card. It's irrelevant, it doesn't matter.
You were losing anyway.
You lost.
Thankfully, the integrity of our judge staff, unimpeachable.
I don't know, would that be a bad decision? I mean, not having to say you win, you lose because of something you don't know, and then you're like, yeah, well, it doesn't matter. You have lost anyway.
I wouldn't be particularly happy about getting a call on that basis.
The problem is that if it's actually a removal of something relevant, then you have to choose.
Yeah. I think safer just going on what has been witnessed, what both players have said, and, you know, the many, many years of experience already between the judges that are discussing this decision.
What do you think they're talking about, the judges?
Well, I'm more interested actually in how mentally this will impact on both of the players involved, regardless of which way the decision goes.
Regardless? I think it will impact on the... You have information from Rich.
Ooh. So the talk is that the token was picked up and put on the battlefield in order to help visualize the amount of damage that would be dealt.
Oh yeah, that's not happening.
That seems very thin to me.
That doesn't.
If it's being put onto the battlefield, then I feel like this is not a decision.
No, that can't be right.
I mean, that would open the door to all sorts of angle shooting.
I'm going to write your score, your life total at 5, just to see what happens.
To see what it would look like if your life total was 5.
5, yeah. But you know, you're not on 5, so don't worry.
Yeah. And Bradley taking a step away from the table there. Can't quite see whether or not it's him providing extra information to the judges or simply taking a moment, sort of a breath of fresh air almost. Because, yeah, whoever this goes against, it's got to feel like a bit of a body blow. And we've got another game result while things are going on here. Marcio Carvalho squared things up against Fabrizio Anteri. That match 1-1. The match between Valentin Mackel and Nicolas Laban 1-1. The match between Juan Carlos Audebo Diaz and Sebastian Knorr 1-1. Basically, while it's only the first game between Brad and Tamas, the rest of the top 8's rocking along at a rare old pace. And actually, while this judge call going on, looks like we might actually get a chance to see the front end of the Knur and Adobo Diaz match.
They played GP Barcelona in 2008 or 9.
Okay.
The one with Juan Carlos. The one Calafel won.
Was that the one that he won with Cascade Swans?
Yep. 2009.
A little round of applause suggests that we may have another result coming through very shortly. Our man on the floor is Stephen Leeming, checking out what's going on. I can see him wandering in our direction. Let's have a look. So it looks like Fabrizio Anteri is continuing his success at GPs.
So he won Warsaw.
He won Warsaw. He's had a second and a third recently. He's got, at very worst, a fourth at this GP. Fabrizio Anteri just on an absolute tear lately. And it looks like we're back to our match. And how many Satyrs are in play?
One not.
It looks like they've rolled back to the point where he's making a decision about what to do with.
No, he's. Oh yeah. Yeah. He got the decision.
Okay.
So he could roll back the token. All right. Well, he was not. Like, we saw Bradley's next draw. It was a Corsair, I think.
Okay.
So it wouldn't have changed anything.
And that ultimately probably a great thing for Bradley's peace of mind.
Not having the next card not
if the next card had been a Hero's Downfall,
oh man,
he may have felt an awful lot worse about how that decision went. So those players now carefully studying sideboards, figuring out what they want to do, and we are going to get a chance to get the live look in on Sebastian Kleur on the left of our screen and Juan Carlos Adobo Diaz on the right. It looks like there might just be a bit of a mulligan going on here for Knur. Entertainingly, he the one with a Crown Crusader on his sleeves, even though Juan Carlos the one with the Crusader in his deck.
That's Xenagos.
Oh, that's Xenagos? It's the red background fooling me there. It's been a long weekend and clearly my eyes are going. I don't mind too much if they're only going for the backs of cards rather than the fronts.
Is it a one-lander?
It looks like it may in fact be. I mean, the black deck does have more one-drops than most decks in the format. It looks like it is a keep here from Knur and a Thoughtseize.
That hand is not
Four
very
lands.
good.
So this basically probably taking the one creature in Adobo Diaz's hand, leaving him with Launch the Fleets, Ordeal of Heliod, and then 4 lands.
Swiftly, like sweeping it away. And a mountain. It's not a creature.
So a stilted start potentially for both
second
decks.
man.
Second land, and there's a Brain Maggot in Knur's hand, so he can reinforce what he's already done to decimate Juan Carlos's hand.
What else? What do you take?
No Launch the Fleet for you.
All right.
So the black aggro deck effectively playing the control here.
Well, he mulliganed twice already. Once or twice. Oh, and then lights.
In for points.
And now third land, but it doesn't matter. He has two Ball Blights in hand, and Juan Carlos just keeps drawing lands.
Mogus Marauder's the draw there for Knur, which a good card in the matchup, but it does need an extra land to make things happen.
And another mountain. Oh.
This not the typical aggro mirror.
Is that John Sword? No, it's a Boon of Erebos. What's this card? Oh, a Tormented Hero. Tormented Herb on our deck list.
And there's the third land. Herald of Torment. Oh no, Mogus' Marauder.
Attack for 5.
Yeah, this game now potentially not going to last a whole lot longer.
He still draws lands, man. Is he going to draw all lands till the rest of the game?
I mean, the rest of the game might not be more than a turn or two.
Yeah. Another Marner.
Everybody's coming in.
That's actually set 7. Yep. And another
Launch the fleet. It's not a land, but it's not a creature either. A fairly anticlimactic final game there, but we have a winner. All of a sudden, Sebastian Knur is through to the semi-finals of Grand Prix Manchester. So we have every other match is now complete. Valentin Mackel has defeated Laban 2-1. Knur, we just saw 2-1 against Adebo Diaz, and Anteri 2-1 against Carvalho. 3 out of 4 of our semi-finalists, and you get a little bit of a break because we've still got plenty more magic here in this last quarter-final.
Yeah, that's 4 matches to go.
In total for the entire event, yes.
Yeah. And this is one of them.
So Valentin Mackel will be tensely awaiting what he's going to play next. He's on Naya. It's either going to be Naya or Bug, both decks that he will have prepared against. But at the moment, it could be anybody's game. So each player drawing their opening hands, kind of hoping to see not too many mulligans here. Obviously the last match that we were just looked in on was peppered with them. But sideboarding will now have happened. Now what do we think that maybe we'll have seen brought in for each of these players? So...
Revel of the Fallen God?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Another way of making those two Satyr tokens. And for Brad Barclay, it's
that forces Bradley to board in his Drowning Sorrow. So that might not be too bad.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Having them in sideboard is good enough. Doesn't even have to board them in.
Oh wow, just having them to for the mind game of what do you bring in? I've got 3 Drowning Sorrow. Do you really want to bring in your 2 Revel of the Fallen God?
It's the other way around, I think.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't really matter if Tamas brings them in or not. Like, Drowning Sorrow is going to hurt Bradley's hand a lot more than the Rebels are going to hurt Tamas. Like, if he draws them, if he can play them, he will play them, attack, and he will face Drowning Sorrow. If Bradley has Drowning Sorrow and Tamas does not have Revel, Drowning Sorrow doesn't do much against Naya. And it's tokens, but Elspeth's token is just for 1 turn.
I mean, Brad Barclay's sideboard, an interesting one. Almost 15 different cards. Aside from the 3 Drowning Sorrow and 2 Gainsay, he's got a lot of one-offs in there for kind of just fine-tuning his deck against different matchups. One that I kind of like the look of, which I'm guessing he's not bringing in here, is Phoenix God of Deception. That, another way of punishing opposing Courser of Crucifix. You can tap your creatures to mill your opponent's good cards off the top. And he's got a reasonable amount of toughness on the board, you know, with the likes of his Prognostic Sphinxes, Sylvan Caryatids, Courser of Crucifix. That potentially another route to victory in control matchups. So a turn 1 Thoughtseize, we get to see Tamas's keep here. So there's double Stormbreath Dragon. That Revel has come in, as has Elspeth. So a lot of power in that hand. Tamas just needs some lands. And
some lands, a lot of lands.
I'm guessing Elspeth going here.
Dragon might actually go. I mean, he's very far from Elspeth. Okay.
So the White Planeswalker is the one that leaves, and Brad at the moment all on basic lands, so he's not had a lot of scries or colour fixing just yet. The same certainly cannot be said for Tamas Glied. And a prognostic sphinx off the top there for Brad
no
Barclay.
land.
So he wasn't the one that mulliganed, but possibly should have.
It's a key, probably another land. Oh, Forest, that's... Is it Corsair? That's a Corsair.
Come on, land on top.
All right.
You could do with some blue mana, but certainly he'd rather take a land than not a land. Tamas making a Satyr token, unable to attack this turn, but just getting creatures on the board. A happy place to be. Ashiok, not something that Brad's going to be able to cast. And just a bit of pressure on Xenagos here.
Just taking, yeah.
Brad does have the Swamp and a Hero's Downfall in hand if he wants, but Tamas happy to just say, all right, fine, Xenagos on 1 loyalty.
It's going to be a tough game for Bradley here. Because Tamas kept it on top, so it's probably a land. And either way, Dragon is coming down next turn.
And he has a Hero's Downfall for the first Dragon.
Shouldn't...
That's interesting.
So what did Tamas keep on top? Is that a land?
It's a Banishing Light.
It's not. All right. And this Dissolve in hand is...
It's not getting cast for at least 2 turns.
Forest, Swamp, Draw Dissolve. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, this game could be comparatively quick. Another Hero's Downfall there dealing with the Dragon.
Here comes the blue mana.
Temple of Deceit. And a Scry. Where's it going, Bradley? Oh, he's deep in the tank on this one.
Another Dragon's coming down next turn. That's... Is that an Elspeth? Elspeth's Dragon. Like, he's drawing anything Tamas would draw is live now.
And of course, a Krufix drawn. I think that Course of Krufix might have to hit the back of the queue in terms of powerful spells that Tamas Glied is going to deploy anytime soon. No, turns out he disagrees with me. Arbor Colossus on top.
Another big dude.
Yeah, I mean, they're almost interchangeable, the gigantic threats from Tamas Glied here. Especially given that Brad is not really putting up much defense right now.
He had a dragon and he decided not to play a dragon. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, of course, it doesn't do anything here.
Courses all round. Reaper on top. And there's a forest.
It's a land.
So he can play Elspeth if he wants to. Oh, actually, does he? Yes, he does have the double white, yes.
So what's coming down now? I like the dragon here.
Dragon.
I like the dragon last turn.
There it is. Stormy Breath. 4 in the air.
I like attacking with everything there.
Yeah, I mean, Brad now on 9. He could easily have been on 7, and 7 means that...
Yeah. It's an activation. It's a dragon activation.
Yeah.
He would have been on like 8, but still.
So we can just hear Fabrizio Anteri pointing out that he actually lives in England at the moment. So potentially he might find himself on the British World Championship team as the captain. Apparently he is far, far clear of anyone else in England.
Oh, yeah?
So he will be our captain at the World Magic Cup later. Turns out he's pretty good as well. I'm not too sad about that one. Cure the crashing wave there for Brad Barclay. But oh look, it's another dragon on top. And you know what? Says Tamas, you can stay there. Gives him a little pat. Good dragon.
Head on the wing, on the head.
You got to be careful of the head. He's got bad breath.
I think I would go like, yeah, pick any one of my cards now. I'll play it. Doesn't matter which one. Just
a good way to mess with your opponents there. He's gone with Elspeth. So Elspeth comes along. Hey, look how full my board is now. 3 tokens. Thank you very much. Brad Barclay. I mean, he was in trouble a few turns ago, so what he's in now, I'm not even sure I can say on air at this point.
He's in big trouble.
Big trouble, yes.
We're gonna see some more Ashok on Dragon shenanigans.
I'd be happy to see some more of that. I enjoyed it last time. But yeah, the list of things that Brad Barclay needs to deal with is getting longer rather than shorter.
Yeah, next turn there are gonna be a hell lot of goats coming his way.
Potentially, yeah.
Goatmen.
And that land getting straight to the bottom, not what Brad's looking for. Only to see a different land right back on top.
This game does not go the way he wants it to go. There's a dragon in play, there's a dragon on top of his deck, there's a dragon in his graveyard.
So that dragon's living in a bubble. Another dragon's living on the top of Tamas Glied's deck.
And the dragon is not living at all. That's his deed.
Almost every state that a dragon could be in, apart from happily in play, ready to breathe all over somebody.
In an egg.
In an egg.
Egg, yes.
Maybe that's kind of what the bubble dragon's like. It thinks it's back in the egg.
Ah, okay. So I'm gonna see, oh, he's keeping black up for the Blight bluff.
And Blight's certainly a factor here, but Course of Crucifix less likely to be a factor because Tamas sips it to the bottom, instead seeing a mana confluence.
Is he going to play around the Blight? I don't think so. Just
Tamas is now in the sort of position that I love to be in a game of Magic, which is the one where you can almost say, you know what, I'm not even going to bother playing around it. I'm just going to put stuff in the red zone, so I reckon it's probably good enough.
He's playing very carefully not to lose too much stuff here.
Conservative Magic this turn.
Yeah.
Next turn,
not so conservative.
Kind of hoping for some big swings.
It's gonna be a Goatman party.
A revel.
Revel. So that's the definition in the dictionary.
Oh,
revel. A Goatman party.
Potentially, yeah. A revel of the fallen god, and that enough to get the handshake from Brad Barclay.